When was the last time you kicked out a player, and why? Only once about a month ago, and why? Started unironically showing signs of being from that crowd on Twitter, saying shit like, this is a safe space, and even asking a guy to change his Pepe profile picture.
I don't get where people get outraged over their whole Pepe.
I don't get it.
It feels, honestly, Pepe memes are a bit of a dead one at this point. I still find them funny, but honestly, it depends on context. You can use any meme to make it like, oh my god, this is most outrageous things.
Yeah. Basically, I realised the early signs and booted him out. I made up some bullshit about how he needs mental health treatment to fortify mental tolerance to things that can be interpreted negatively. Basically, I realised an overly easily offended triggered stereotype from election era SGW compilation slipped through.
You know, it's a shame because the best term I ever came across for that whole thing. Now, so we're not Americans, so it's even better for us.
Yeah.
But Trump
judge.
Yeah, but Trump derangement syndrome. Mm-hmm. See, like people that absolutely like people that were perfectly normal beforehand,
and then as soon as the whole election,
then they just went boogaloo. Like lots of people's minds exploded.
Yeah.
You know.
It was a 5th edition campaign held on Discord, so I shouldn't be surprised. I did try to keep those types out through reading their profile pictures. Examples like furries, pastel colours, anime, flags of any kind, pronouns and profiles, etc. Profile pictures subconsciously reveal a lot about a person's identity once you've been stuck to having to use Discord to play games for long enough. I also kicked out a stereotypical Polak. Guy had a Greco-Roman bust profile picture. I should have seen that one coming a mile away.
Hey. Look, I love history, okay? Leave me alone.
If I want to have Caesar's bust, I'll have Caesar's bust.
Honestly, I find Caesar is the most fascinating person throughout all of human history. I really would want to do a video on him at some stage, but look, that's neither here nor there. It is a weird one that you can pick up a lot from people.
From their profile pictures on Discord.
Yeah,
especially.
Discord's such a fucking trash pile. It's absolutely
burning dumpster fire.
You know the worst. It's like the best and worst social media because you can have it very customizable and there's so many different communities and whatnot. But fuck me, the people that use it.
I know.
Oh my god.
I was partially complicit for kicking out a player around a couple of years ago for being a severe deterrent to the group's enjoyment in a few minor ways that all added up at the end of the day. The guy was actually in the group longer than me, but he was bad at roleplaying. All of his characters were basically himself, which I didn't mind, but they all held his own beliefs and behaved the same every game. He played them all poorly and caused a lot of friction with the other players, metagamed several times, and was on that weird line of hogging the story too much. Like when he broke a negotiation that was otherwise going well with a kingdom regent, or not interacting with the game at all, basically being a fly on the wall until combat starts. It's like his actions were done completely in a bubble without any interaction with his other players. There was also the issue that he got more and more depressed as time went on. Sessions were becoming less about roleplay and game, and more about listening to his real life problems, dealing with his low self-esteem and crippling fear of other people and their judgments. After a while, players made the decision to ask him to leave, and wanted my blessing. While I initially didn't give it, I eventually gave the go-ahead and realised keeping him around would cause the group to dissolve eventually. It always left a bad taste in my mouth because I felt like he needed help, and we were probably the only ones available to give it. But a tabletop game isn't really the time or place to get it.
I know, that's such a shame, isn't it?
I know.
You know, you can really tell whenever someone's actually hurting.
I know.
You know, and it's very hard to turn around and say to them, look, mate, fuck off. You know? But again, sometimes it's time to play. We have came across this quite a bit, where GMs turn into, like...
therapists?
Yeah, they do almost. Mm-hmm. It's a really weird... I can't think of...
Or the game itself turns into a therapy session where they act out their insecurities and stuff within... the character.
Maybe that's why you also get a lot of, for instance, like that's why you do get a lot of like degeneracy types, like, you know, a lot of role playing and whatnot. Maybe they want to do it there because
they don't feel like they can do it.
Well, they probably
shouldn't do it.
Well, it's not that they aren't willing to do it IRL. It's just that they're not able to do it IRL. I suppose there's a bit of a difference. But honestly, that one's just sad, man. That one's more just upsetting than anything.
A guy got kicked out for being too autistic last year. He would constantly metagame, tell other players what they should do, and repeatedly tried to charm the player's employer multiple times, even after being warned by the DM himself it was a horrible idea. It's difficult to describe his power level, so I'll give an example. After he was told he was getting kicked out before leaving the Discord, he wrote a song fic about how life was unfair to him and posted it for everyone to see.
That's fucking sad, man.
Oh, fuck.
Megan, this thread isn't fun at all. This thread's fucking depressing me. I was getting myself ready. He's like, oh yeah, no, what y'all like, some spurge, everyone here and there. This is just making me sad at this point. I expected better. I really expected better. Although on topic of DM saying that's a horrible idea, I don't know. I've been told plenty of times about horrible ideas. I make that shit work. Just because they say it's a horrible idea doesn't mean it is a horrible. Maybe they're just not interpreting it the correct way.
Don't take any advice from James.
No, trust me. If the DM says it's a horrible idea,
I'm telling you, guys, seriously. I had to kick out a player about 3 years ago. He started freaking out because of a bit of art I used for a demon reminded him too much of Baphomet.
Baphomet? The fuck's
Baphomet? Baphomet?
Hold on, let me Google that. Oh, it's that goat, the satanic.
Oh right, okay.
The go-to satanic statue.
Yeah. And he began telling me that our game was satanic, like going full 80s on me. So I told him to get lost and booted him from the game. Afterward, he sent me a long message about how we were all going to hell for playing D&D.
How do you get this far?
He was playing a tiefling atheist cleric who gained his power from denying the existence of gods.
There's no way this is real. I refuse to believe people can be.
I like to believe it is, because I like to believe that there's people out there like this.
It's too fucking retarded. Like, straight up, there's no other word to describe on it. It's just the lack of self-awareness.
I know. In a game where the plot had the gods very active and even appearing directly before the players. About a week before this, he revealed to the group that he was a flat earther and tried very hard to convince us to believe in the flat earth theory. Oh, fuck. Suck my dick.
I do enjoy...
Absolute cabbage.
I love reading about really out there conspiracy theories. I find them really interesting. Like, even if I don't believe them at all, I still find them really fascinating because, I've came to the conclusion that it really doesn't matter what's real and what isn't. If enough people believe something, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of actually really interesting stuff with the whole flat earth thing. I honestly buy into it to a certain extent that people use flat earth to deny other stuff, if that makes any...
I get where you're coming from,
Like, they put that down as to disguise it, and then they put other stuff
on top of it.
Well,
flat earth is so out of here, so that one might have a little bit of validity.
But so you mix it in. It's like you're like muddying the waters.
Yeah,
almost.
You have the crackpot one, and then you have one that's like, listen to me.
It's really fascinating, though. I don't know. I probably shouldn't be talking about
sucking vampires on Mars.
I probably shouldn't be talking about conspiracy theories on YouTube though, because everyone knows what YouTube's like, even if everyone knows, they're like, okay.
Susan sniffs that shit out.
Yeah, look, let's just keep going, guys.
I've never kicked a player, but I got a player kicked out of a game I played last year. Literally, that guy. Yes, all caps required. Edgy necromancer, then 2 edgy rogues. Rogues are female, and he does sexualise them in-game. Frequently stop the session dead on its tracks to discuss rules, even when they weren't being used at the minute. Constantly tries to brood and flees from the party. Just complains about being left out. Min-maxed to a T. There were plenty of complaints about everyone in the table, but to no avail. The last straw was when he spent half an hour trying to convince the girl in our group to whore herself so we could get more cash between adventures for half an hour IRL.
Wait, you're playing a girl anyway. Why do you not whore yourself out? You get your pussy out there, boy. You get yourself to work. You want that money? You gotta work for that, boy.
I didn't ask the GM to kick the guy out. Just informed him that I wouldn't be coming back anymore until he was out. The GM held a vote, and that guy was unanimously voted out. Felt good.
I mean, you really should have sold himself. All I'm saying is, if you cannot suggest whoring out your bumhole if you yourself are not willing to then whore you're also whore out your own bumhole.
Exactly.
So fair's fair.
Hypocritical.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, the models of our website, brought to you by neckbeardia.co.uk. Okay, get y'all some of these titties.
Dwarf titties, orc titties, cat titties, fat titties, the gases and assisted bit. Vampires and goblins and all the buff champions and even hentai, yeah that too. Dragons, manticores, ogres and gnomes and bugbears and even more to you go still. Undead and demons and then our friend Pally and definitely not 40k. Wood elves, dark elves and lizards and Megan the Slither and James the look cool as he stands. Beholders and kobolds and tyrants and only in a donkey with a frying pan. If you don't want no models, then no need to bother. We now have subclasses and teas. Also, Guardbros Book, go have a look. Check out the link to Ko-fi. Thank you for watching our videos and giving our channel a hand. But this is the end, our viewers and friends, so let's get back to the video, man. I fucking hate myself. I once had to kick out an autistic weeb who was obsessed with proving that his vampire character had a working reproductive system. Not that he was boning everything. He would just get into long autistic arguments trying to prove that she would. The reason I kicked him is that he started ringing because someone disagrees with him on the rules.
Okay, this is actually a weird one. I saw there was a thread about this the other day. Can undead reproduce? Are they, like, you know, because, like, you know, they can regenerate cells, so...
I thought vampires only turned if they bit.
No, but
or is that like in...
Well, can vampires have children? You know, that's a little question. I have no idea. It's a little...
According to the little vampire.
The little vampire was basement got killed. Best vampire movie of all time. Just saying. Just putting that out there. Let's continue.
Be Me, a few years ago on Roll20. Group I played Death Watch with falls apart due to drama with a player. GM decides to run a new campaign and invites me to it. This time playing Legend of the Five Rings. Never played Legend of the Five Rings, but it looks cool and I'm just enough of a weeb to be interested in some samurai adventures. There's no full stop. In not Japan. Game actually turns out to be super fun. Get the occasional bit of cringe though, mostly because the GM can be a little bit of an edgelord and loves a clan in the setting called the Spider Clan, who have a pact with an evil god named Fu Leng, who is basically Japanese Satan. Overall though, the game was a ton of fun and I ended up getting super into Legend of the Five Rings. Love the system and the setting. Game ends up dying after about a year of playing because of scheduling conflicts, and I end up...
Is that something from an Asian word? So long? Is that a name?
I end up something contact losing, is that meant to be?
Oh, losing contract. Yeah, I thought that was some Asian word. Sorry guys. Sorry guys. Like, you may as well put fucking numbers in them half the time.
I end up losing contact with the GM. Fast forward to this year. Be Me, now in a group of really close friends I met online through the hobby. Been playing together for years now. I've played in and run games for this group at this point. At this point we hang out and play video even outside of the tabletop stuff. Tell them about Legend of the Five Rings one day. Some of them are interested in trying it, so I offered to GM. Need one more player though, because schedule conflicts means not everyone can play and I like to have a fifth player. Decide to throw an ad up on Roll20 and just hope for the best.
That's when you fucked up. That's when you fucked up.
We've recruited plenty of new players since the first game and we all played together. So with luck, we'll have a new friend to add to the gang. A day later, I get a message on Roll20. It's the original guy that introduced me to Legend of the Five Rings. He recognised me and is interested in playing.
Oh, that's really nice actually. That's good. That's really cool.
Figured I owe him one for introducing me to the game. Plus he ran a pretty good campaign, so I'll gladly take him in and add him to the Discord group. Introduce him to the group as the guy that taught me about the game. He'll be our fifth player. You would think everything from here would be smooth sailing, but what actually happened was an absolute clusterfuck that I wasn't expecting. That whole sentence sounds like scratch record. Hi, my name's Ryan. You might wonder why I got into this situation.
yeah, it is. Scratch record moment.
1 hour into being invited and he already gets into a fight with one of my friends. I come back from eating lunch to 150 plus messages of insults and shit flinging. Apparently one of my friends was talking about social systems in games, and I guess something in what he said really set my former GM off. I'm wondering how the fuck something this small escalated so fast while I was gone, and pulled them both aside to cool off. My friend is chill about it. Even he's confused why former GMs got so heated. Meanwhile, former GM accuses me of taking the other guy's side because I asked him to dial it back a few notches. Rocky start, but whatever. Personalities clash sometimes, I guess. Start talking concepts and charging with players. Former GM wants to play a Spider Clan character. I tell him no, because the premise, which he already knew going in, has the Spider Clan as the primary antagonist of the campaign. He argues with me for over an hour. An actual fucking hour. when I told him up front what the premise is. I don't budge because he knew ahead of time that spiders were off the table. It was mentioned explicitly in the Roll20 ad, and letting him play one would derail the entire point of the campaign. Eventually he relents, but gets sulky and grumpy about it. At this point I probably should have just kicked him, but I felt obligated to him for introducing me to the game, so I tolerated his shit for longer than I should have. I thought the issue was at least settled after I stayed firm on this point, but oh boy was I wrong. Eventually have a session 0 with everyone to show them how charging worked. That guy is still sulking and doesn't attend. Whatever, he knows the system already, and the main point of this is to show the new players how to do charging. Anyways, a few more days pass, still don't have a sheet or concept from former GM. Decide to ask him about it. Oh yeah, I've got it all worked out. Neat, what are you playing? That's a surprise. You what?
Yeah, okay, sure.
A surprise from the GM? I ask him about it, but he suddenly goes offline. I roll my eyes. I'm kind of tired of it at this point, but figure I'll ask him again in the morning. In the meantime, I hop on Roll20 to do some work setting up for the upcoming game. Notice that he actually has a sheet on Roll20 already. Name, character art, and all. Go to take a look at it. Clan, Spider. He has a disadvantage labelled Dark Secret, Child of Fuleng. Child of fucking Fuleng. This man is trying to play some edgy Mary Sue bullshit after I explicitly told him already not to make a spider character. The Fuleng shit was never run by me either, by the way. Probably because I'd never have approved of it. Confronted him about him. Asked him why the hell he tried to go under my nose to make a character I told him already I would never approve. He proceeds to get really pissy and complains that he had a really good idea for it and that I wasn't giving a fair shot, so I should just let him play his stupid edgelord Mary Sue. Accuses me of picking on him. Holds the fact that he introduced me to this game in the first place over my head. Finally done with it entirely and tell him to get the fuck out. Kick him from the game and the Discord. Block him and never hear from him again. I genuinely don't know what the fuck he was expecting. I guess he thought he could just keep the details of his character on a secret from me, the GM, for a whole campaign that I would just be fine with whatever Mary Sue bullshit storyline he came up with.
You have to wonder about people
The
like
audacity of some people.
You know,
the absolute,
the audacity.
It's like superiority complex with people.
Yeah, I think it is. You know, it's a real shame because it's such a nice story to start off with, you know, meeting back up with someone you haven't seen in ages, you know, and especially on the internet where you just don't run into people again.
Yeah.
You know, think of all them people that you played fucking whatever in like 2007 with. Think of all them people you played Call of Duty with.
Think about all them people you met in Habbo Hotel.
Yeah, exactly. Think of the Habbo Hotel days, guys. You know, you're never going to see them again, and it's so nice to actually come back in contact with people that you've genuinely
some people are just dicks.
I mean, I think I know what the guy was going for.
Still.
But it's still just a kind of shitty way to go about it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't look, guys, it just wasn't like, if I'm telling you this isn't a good idea, you know it's not a very good idea.
If James disagrees with it.
Yeah. If I say it's a bad idea, then you know it's really it's really bad, okay, guys? Just don't bother, okay? Let's keep going.
When was the last time you had to kick out a player? I had to do it only once, but that was 5+ years ago. The player who held the reservation for our usual gaming place was quite a case. A ham-planet brony who, with a lack of personal hygiene and social tact, probably a case on undiagnosed autism, and a penchant to rant about politics and religion, particularly in relation to immigrants, and lots of cringy, out-of-place pop culture references, including making characters based entirely on popular shows and proudly explaining the reference. He made half the group uncomfortable, which wasn't helped by his creepy, lowbrow, sexist jokes. We had one female character in the party at the time, and the other half just tolerated his presence. He was in general disinterested in any actual role-playing, mostly paying attention only when combat was happening, to the extent that sometimes he would just lay down on a mattress on the floor and slept.
We've heard about this guy before.
I'm pretty sure we've heard about this.
I recognise this guy.
Or watched videos on his phone, usually on mute at least. And then he had the audacity to complain that his character was being outshined by others, obviously jealous of what the other PCs achieved by being proactive and showing actual interest. Needless to say, they were a fat man on thin ice. I had tried talking to them about the issue over the time, hoping they'd change, but in vain. My goodwill, patience and understanding finally ran out when one session he for once described to do something with his character on his own. He decided that it was a great idea and the funniest joke ever that his character would carve a log into a wooden dick and gifted to the one female character in the party.
That's kind of funny, not gonna lie.
The player of which tolerated him the least out of the group, while the rest of the party was doing actual plot-relevant things. That was the straw that broke my back, and made me walk away from the table to gather my composure, before telling him that he would be out of the group until further notice. He took it with no further drama.
I'm pretty sure we've done this guy before.
I'm pretty sure. Or there's just so fucking many of them like that.
Okay, so the stereotype is that we've definitely done this before. Is Brony, game IRL, and for some reason he would lie down in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of a game, like, you know, he would just go off and decide to lie on his belly on the floor playing on his phone with like his legs up behind him, like in the air, like some anime girl.
I'm going to be kicking out a player in the next few days. He got feelings for a girl at the table, mentioned it to her, and she didn't exactly reciprocate it. This, plus scheduling issues, caused us to put the game on hiatus. It's been a little over 5 weeks of radio silence from him, with 1 or 2 of those weeks being 1 player short of runnable. Every time I try asking how he's feeling, I get a bunch of messages about how upset he is. I offer, but he ignores it. Eventually, after hearing the same thing over and over, I tell him he's being a bit dramatic, but then I get, "It's not fair of you to tell me how I should feel." I'll have enough players available to run the game without him in a few more weeks. I'm just going to let him know that I'm running a game soon, and he doesn't have to come if he's not up for it. He'll most likely not show up. In about a few weeks of not playing, he'll just silently remove himself from our group chat because he'll feel like he doesn't belong or something. Really, he's kicking himself. I just wish he wasn't such a passive-aggressive baby about this sort of thing. Maybe I'm a bitch for being passive myself, but even if he was kicked weeks earlier, there'd still be no games. So I guess it doesn't really matter.
Like, you know, I do definitely believe the guy should have went for it and just said there, because otherwise it's just going to keep going and going and going on. I've mentioned this before, I don't know how many times. See, if you come across a girl and you actually fancy them, you kind of have to just fucking go for it.
Yeah.
And if you don't go for it, you know, you're going to be worrying, you'll be thinking about all the what ifs, what if I did, what if I didn't. And, you know, the scariest thing is, like, you know, if you do go for it and you get rejected, then it's like, you know, but it was like you were stuck in limbo, but then you actually get to go to hell, so you do once you do get rejected. But you know, you're really going to have to just like, look, okay, that's fine, you know, let's just forget about this, let's just continue. You know, she's not into it, that's okay, look guys, let's just forget about this and move on, will we? Or at least try. So, but that's much easier said than done. Saying, oh, you know, just get over them. It's like telling someone that's depressed, oh, just be happy, mate, you'll be fine. It doesn't really work like that, you know, it just doesn't, and it's very difficult. It's look, emotions are fucking hard, man. Go hard.
But try and keep them off the table.
Yeah, that's all anyone can really can ask. I don't know, I feel like there's a lot going on with a lot of different parties. Yeah. And I feel like we haven't heard anything from the girls' point of view about any of this and why or whatever. But I don't know, I do feel bad for fellas, because at least he tried and didn't end up becoming some orbiter simp, you know? Yeah, at least he actually said, dear. So I will give anyone credit that at least
that at least tries and says.
That's my view on the matter anyway. So I think that's where we're going to end it, but do you guys want to hear about the time I got kicked out?
Did you get kicked out?
I didn't really get kicked out. I more left, but then whenever I went to go back, they wouldn't let me come back. So I'll take that as I got kicked out. So this was a couple of years ago. Well, it wasn't. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, because it was. So I was having this game IRL before COVID, and then whenever, because I liked playing IRL, so I did.
Is this the one the guy messaged you about a few weeks ago?
No, that was a previous game. No, it wasn't the same group. There was a couple of people that were in that group, but it was a different one. Okay. So what happened was, right, I was playing a game, IRL, with a load of boys. This was just before COVID. We were playing from, I think, like, you know, we started the game in maybe the October, and then, like, you know, COVID came in, March time?
Wait, was this a Star Wars game?
No, this wasn't the Star Wars. No, the Star Wars game we only got to play once. I was actually so much fun. I really wish we could have continued that. Fuck you, COVID. Anyway, so what happened was, I was playing weekly games Wednesday night. It was good fun. It was okay. And eventually COVID hit, but I was already playing like an online game, so I had one IRL game and an online game. And when COVID hit, you know, the guys that were playing the online game just had a far better setup, and the guys that we were playing with IRL just wanted to do like voice over Discord, and half the boys couldn't even use microphones and shit, and it was just an absolute mess. And I said, I was like, no, man, honestly, you know what? I'll leave it until we come back. So we will, will we? I'll leave it till, like, you know, we open up again, and that sound good, yeah. The guys already, I could tell. Like, look, I was playing the North FC character at the time.
Oh, and, it was that group?
Yeah, it was that group. I was playing the
okay.
North FC character, and you can tell I was definitely ruining some people's immersion. But look, I was shitposting. I was having so much fun.
IRL?
Yeah. Like, honestly, I there was someone in the comments the other day, and I said, honestly, tabletop role-playing games are a vehicle for me to shitpost.
Yeah.
That's all they are to me at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just here for the memes, guys. I just like to enjoy myself.
That's what I just say about life at the moment. I'm literally genuinely just here for a laugh. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, no idea. But anyway, so what happened was they got out an announcement in the Discord saying like, oh yeah, what y'all, the place is open again. We all ready to come back down. They pinged everyone but me. So I think that. So I had a message to the DMs like, "Hey man, when are we starting? What's the plan?" And he says, "No, James. I think we're just going to continue on with the people that played through COVID. ... I was a very like, okay, fair enough. But either way, like I'm happy enough with my online game, so I am like, you know, and honestly, fuck you guys. I never enjoyed your game anyway. You shitty voices and your fucking Critical Role fans. Anyway, I'm taking the piss. I'm only joking with you.
No, it's not.
Fuck you guys.
Anyway, check out the links down below to the models and subclasses. They really help us out, guys. Please check them out and hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time we post a video. And if you like TTS, head over to the Neckbeardia TTS archive and check out the videos over there. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye. Oh, for fuck's sake.
You will buy the models. You will buy the subclasses.
Who wants me to get a boink hammer to hit him whenever he does this?
You need the model. Trust me. Buy the lizard with the big fat titties. You will not get kicked out of the group. See you later.